Hi there, and welcome to Sunny Daze podcast at jollyville.com. That's JALEAVILLE.com. I'm your host, Jolly. And here at Sunny Days Podcast, our purpose is to share a few light, heartwarming, uplifting stories, as well as a birthday or anniversary, a little entertainment news, and more. I'm so glad to get to share some feel good moments with you. So grab a cup of sunshine and let's get started. Today, our first story brings us to Christmas, Michigan. A little community of Christmas can be found on the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and was given its name by a factory owner. Every single business in town is committed to the Santa Claus theme, including the nearby Yule Log Resort, located naturally on Candy Cane Lane. Now, the small town of Christmas, Michigan, welcomes you to celebrate the joys of Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, the elves, and the reindeer. Christmas, Michigan has a population of about 400 people and was given its name by a local man who started a roadside factory to make holiday gifts back in 1938. Well, the factory's long gone, but the community of Christmas continued to grow, becoming a very popular resort area, especially during the winter time when it becomes a scenic Christmas wonderland. Now, some good news came to Christmas on July the 8th in 1966, when Christmas acquired its first post office and Christmas, Michigan was chosen as the issuing site for the first day cover of the 1966 Christmas stamp. Wow. And how far back does Christmas story go? Well, we told you about the local gentleman who established a factory in 1938 where the workers made Christmas gifts and ornaments. But at that time, the town was known as Onoda, but some locals decided to rename it after the Christmas factory in hopes of positioning it as, a good winter vacation destination. While the factory that started it all, of course, we said is no longer standing, the town is still quite anchored by its post office, busiest during the holiday season because so many people send their packages through there to get the coveted Christmas stamp on their envelopes and boxes. Well, a sunny Christmas cheer to you, Christmas, Michigan. Next story comes from CBS, a truly uplifting story about a quiet, secret multimillionaire leaving his entire fortune to a small town up in New Hampshire. Well, the fellow's name was Jeffrey Holt. He was, by all accounts, an unassuming caretaker of a mobile home park in Hinsdale, New Hampshire, where he lived a quite simple life, though curious, some people thought. Residents would see Mr. Holt around town in thread bedclothes, riding his lawnmower, heading to the convenience store, parked along Main Street, reading a newspaper, and just people watching. He did odd jobs for others, but he barely left town. Despite having taught driver's ed to high schoolers, Mr. Holt had already given up driving a car and he opted for a bicycle instead. And finally, he just kind of used his mower to get about. His mobile home in the park was almost completely empty of furniture. No TV, no computer either. The legs on the bed went through the floor. His friend, Mr. Edwin Smith, said he seemed to have everything he wanted, but he didn't want much. After Mr. Holt died earlier this year, everyone heard the secret. He was a multi-million-dollar. And what's more, he gave it all away to his community of 4,200 people. His will had brief instructions, 3.8 million to the town of Hinsdale to benefit the community in the areas of education, health, recreation, and culture. Said a resident who often waved at Mr. Holt, I don't think anyone had any idea that he was that successful. I know he didn't have a whole lot of family, but nonetheless, to leave it to the town where he lived in, it's a tremendous gift. And so, a quick update. As of late, there's been no formal gathering to discuss ideas for the money since local officials were just notified in November. Some residents have proposed ideas from restoring buildings to starting an online driver's education. Well, we wish you good luck with your good fortune, Hinsdale. now, a happy sunny birthday to a 102-year-old doctor. And here's the number one thing the happiest and the happiest people I know, she said, do. And before I begin this happy birthday wish, I'd like to say, in full disclosure, this is almost all a complete quote from Dr. Gladys McGarry. She just has such wonderful things to say. She says when she turned 102 years old this year, and her decades of experience in holistic medicine, it's taught her a whole lot about how to live a long and happy and a purposeful life. So I thought I'd share with you what she said. And what she said was too many people feed into unnecessary stress, but the happiest and happiest people I know are able to go to things, through things, or experiences that no longer serve them. Life is too short to ruminate and consider the same thing over and over again. By doing so, you're essentially just torturing yourself, she says. So the habit for her that has brought her the best health and happiness throughout all of her years and the ability to build things anew, whether it was a relationship, she says, or a career path or a project. She adopted a practice for years. She would recognize something, she said, that didn't serve her anymore. She would drop her hand, opening her fingers in a fluid motion to signify its release. Now, that gesture has become conscious, she says. I realize that there's great empowerment in knowing that whenever I notice something coming toward me, I can choose whether to take it in or not. And if there's something I don't want, I consciously give the energy back to wherever it came from. If you find yourself living with regret, she says, try to catch it. See where it's moving. Did things mostly turn out right? She asked. Yes, and if so, I was always grateful. Was there anything funny about it? Yes, and if so, I always laughed. Have I learned anything from it? She said since then. Okay, so if so, enjoy what you know and express it however you can. That's quite a tip for us all, Dr. McGarry, and a very happy sunny birthday to you. And now something new to Sunny Days podcast, Story Time by Jolly Chat. And our story today, Miss Adeline and Daisy. Once upon a time, in a quaint little town, nestled between rolling hills and dense woodlands, there lived a 64-year-old woman named Miss Adeline. Miss Adeline was known for her kind heart and gentle spirit, and her small cottage was a haven for all creatures, great and small. One rather crisp autumn morning, as the leaves painted the landscape in hues of gold and prism, Miss Adeline discovered a fragile baby doe near her doorstep. Its wide, innocent eyes looked up at her, and without a second thought, she decided to take care of the young creature under her wing. From that day forward, Miss Adeline's routine revolved around caring for the baby doe. She named her little companion Daisy, after the delicate flowers that adorned the meadows surrounding her cottage. My apologies. Daisy, in turn, became a constant presence in Miss Adeline's life, bringing joy and companionship to her quiet home. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The bond between Miss Adeline and Daisy deepened, and the once tiny fawn transformed into a graceful little doe. Daisy's visits became a daily ritual, and the two formed an unspoken connection that transcended the barriers between human and animal. Despite the passage of time, Miss Adeline had never glimpsed the mother of her beloved Daisy. The mysterious absence of the doe's family remained a mystery, and Miss Adeline didn't dwell on the unknown. She focused on providing a safe and loving environment for Daisy, and in return, the doe filled her days with boundless affection. As winter blanketed the landscape in a glistening coat of snow, Daisy's visits persisted. Miss Adeline marveled at the doe's resilience and the enduring bond they shared. Together, they faced the challenges of each season, from the frosty chill of winter to the vibrant renewal of spring. One day, as the first buds of spring adorned the trees, Miss Adeline noticed a change in Daisy. The once dependent Fawn now stood strong and confident, ready to explore the world beyond the cottage. The time had come for Daisy to reintegrate into the wild. With a bittersweet heart, Miss Adeline released Daisy into the embrace of the forest. The young doe hesitated for a moment, nuzzling against Miss Adeline in a silent expression of gratitude. As Daisy bounded away, Miss Adeline couldn't help but feel a mix of sadness and pride. Days turned into weeks once again, and though Daisy's visits less frequent, she always made a point to return to Miss Adeline's cottage. The bond they shared endured, a testament to the profound connection between a kind heart and a once fragile fawn. And so, in the heart of the woods, Miss Adeline's cottage remained a haven for all animals, great and small, a place where the magic of the unspoken friendship lingered, echoing through the years. The end. Thank you. And now on to some entertainment news. And now in the first bit of our entertainment comes an anniversary. Disney's anniversary. Did you know Disney was 100 years old this year? Go and celebrate the Mouse House with some of the favorite things. Did you know when Disney turned 100 years old this year? So hopefully Mickey Mouse, Snow White, Buzz Lightyear, Moana, Cruella de Vil, the Hawk, I bet you they were all hopeful about blowing out some pretty big candles. So when did all this begin? Well, on October the 16th in 1923, Walt Disney was a fledgling filmmaker in LA when he signed a distribution deal for a series of live-action animated comedy shorts about a girl in a cartoon world based on Alice in Wonderland. And the company was born from that. Originally called the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio, Walt and his sibling, Roy Disney, soon changed it to what we all know, the Walt Disney Studio. A century later, the Mouse House has given us, of course, Mickey, who debuted in 1928, the short Steamboat Willie, but also countless of characters, movies, TV shows, theme parks, making Disney a part of pretty much everyone's life at some point. Disney has created the celebratory short film Once Upon a Studio, which is now streaming on Disney Plus, and it features many of the company's icon personalities assembling for the mother of all photos. Now, generations have grown up with classic Disney animated movies, dating back to 1937, The Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. And another one is on the way, Wish, starring Oscar winner Adrienne Barbeau, is a culmination of Disney's 100th celebration. In recent years, though, Disney has reached back into the vault and revamped its most legendary movies with live action redos for today's kiddos. They haven't all been winners. Looking directly at you, Alice through the looking glass, but standouts like Cruella, Cinderella, and Magnificent had added nuance to familiar tales and characters, and nothing compares to classic Disney songs, and there have been plenty. What do you get with a Disney movie? Classic Disney song. Everyone from Elton John to Christina Aguilera has contributed to the Mouse House musical canon. We just want to wish you a giant happy birthday, Disney. And now some wonderful fun facts about Christmas ads. Well, first up, did you know It's a Wonderful Life was a box office flop? It wasn't until 1974, when its copyright expired and the television networks could air it for free, that it cemented its place as one of the most beloved Christmas movies of all time. Wow. How about a little news on the original Elf on the Shelf? Did you know the Elf on the Shelf's original name was Fizby? The elf on the shelf was inspired by creator's own toy elf, Frisbee, who they grew up with in the 1970s. They told the Huffington Post once that Frisbee would report to Santa Claus at night and be back in a different position in their house the very next day. Interesting. And did you know that The Grinch is the highest grossing Christmas film of all time? The runner up, Home Alone, the Christmas classic from 1990. Wow. A little bit about the Polar Express. Did you know Tom Hanks played 6 different roles in the Polar Express? In addition to voicing the conductor, Hanks also played Hero Boy, Father Hobo, Scrooge, and Santa Claus. Very, very talented man. And now, about 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, the little storybook, The Night Before Christmas. Actually, it had a totally different title. Did you know that Clement Clark Moore's iconic 1823 poem is actually called A Visit from St. Nicholas? It is more commonly known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas because of its famous first line. And a little bit more about A Visit from St. Nicholas. Well, Coca-Cola played a big role in shaping the image of Santa. In 1931, Coca-Cola commissioned the artist Hayden Sundblom to paint Santa Claus for the company's Christmas ads. Well, he was inspired by that 1982 poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas. The artist created the warm, jolly character we all know today, complete with rosy cheeks and a white beard and twinkling eyes. And our last fun fact, Jingle Bells was the first song played in space. On December the 16th, 1965, the classic Christmas song was broadcast during NASA's Gemini 6A spaceflight, according to the Guinness World Book of Records. And now, a little bit of news in the music world. In a delightful twist of nostalgia and modern day charm, Miss Brenda Lee, the iconic singer known for her timeless tunes, achieved an unexpected milestone this year, 2023. Her classic hit, which was released in 1958, we all know, Rock Around the Christmas Tree, claimed the coveted #1 spot on the Hot 100. Miss Brenda Lee's beautiful voice at 13 and the infectious rhythm of Rock Around the Christmas Tree have transcended generations, becoming favorite song during the holiday season. The song, with its toe-tapping beats and festive spirit, has long been synonymous with the joyous celebrations of Yuletide merriment. This timeless gem, #1 in 2023, not only attests to the enduring appeal of Miss Brenda Lee, her musical legacy, but it also reflects the universal love for the holiday classics that stand the test of time, as people around the world once again embrace the cheerful tones of Rock Around the Christmas Tree. Congratulations to you, Miss Brenda Lee. Congratulations to you. Miss Brenda Lee found herself at the pinnacle of the charts, a testament to the enduring magic of her timeless Christmas music and the perpetual joy it brings to generations old and new. Thank you, Miss Brenda Lee. Thank you. And what's happening in the movie news? Well, let's shout out to Glisten and the Merry Mission movie. So what's the story about? Well, it follows a young elfin, Marzipan, who's played by Bliss, and her mother, Cinnameg, who's played by Julie Michaels. As Marzipan must believe in the magic of the season as she goes on an adventure of a lifetime to rediscover the enchanted snow deer named Glisten and save Christmas. Additional voices in this movie is played by Sage Evergreen, will be voiced by Miss Dionne Warwick. Billy Ray Cyrus as the reindeer Donner. Chevy Chase will be voicing Santa, and Freddie Prinze will play Crumble Snarf Naps. Glisten is available on streaming services such as Amazon Prime, Apple, Vudu, and many others. Sounds like a delightful movie. As we come to a close of today's episode, let us remember that the stories we've shared serve as a reminder of the goodness that surrounds us every day. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so find your beauty and shine and share it. Remember to spread love, joy, and positivity whenever and wherever you go. See you next week for more stories, entertainment news, fun facts, and more. Until then, peace and love always. And thank you for tuning in to the Sunny Days podcast at jollyville.com. That's JALEAVILLE.com. Thank you. We'll see you next week.